So please tag us. I've seen a couple of posts on Instagram. Thank you. We see you. So please, let's continue to have this conversation online as well. All right, let's get right into our next session. Our next session, this one is a fire chat where we shall be discussing the hiring processes that are there in the cybersecurity sector. This one will be taken by Ella Hamwaka. She will be our moderator. She is working in the Malawi Computer Emergency Response Team, and she'll take us through this session. They have 30 minutes. After that, we will have another session, and this one is specifically going to talk about cyberbullying. This now from the practical perspective. We've talked about it from the legal perspective as well as an awareness perspective, but we want to have now a real conversation as ladies about cyberbullying and harassment, which often than not, women are victims. So now let me hand over to Ella to take us through the panel on hiring. Ella, you have 30 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. I can't hear you. Good morning. So we're just coming from a tea break. We must have the energy to respond now. So I'm going to be taking us through a panel discussion about the hiring process, employers' point of view, aligning skills, qualifications, and personal attributes, and understanding relevant hiring landscape communication, writing winning CV writing, interviews, and next I'm just going to call upon the people that are going to take part in our panel discussion. Are we all excited for it? You know, you need to answer with power. Are we excited for it? Thank you. Thank you so much. How many of us would want to get excellent jobs and be in a good place in life? All of us. So the first thing that you need is an excellent CV. You need an excellent CV for you to get an excellent job. So we're going to hear some views from people that have experience in these fields. So firstly, I'm going to call upon our first speaker on the panel. Our first speaker on the panel is Dismas Ongondi. So Dismas is a seasoned ICT professional with over 25 years of experience, currently a cybersecurity specialist at the UNDP, Malawi. He has provided technical advice to various election management bodies on integrating technology in the electoral process. His expertise spans elections and technology, cybersecurity in election systems, and privacy and data protection. As the founding director, ICT at Kenya's IEBC, he led the implementation of electoral systems, including the BVR system that registered over 14.5 million voters. He has supported electoral processes in Liberia, Lesotho, and Namibia, Malawi, Afghanistan, Zambia, Ghana. And Dismas holds a master's degree in cybersecurity and management, an MBA, and is a certified CISA, CISM, and CISP. May we please give him a huge hand. So as you can see, we have big people coming forward and they're going to share with us their excellent points, right? Yeah, so the next speaker that I'm going to be inviting onto our stage is Horace Chipembere. How many of us know Horace? Okay, so Horace is the one that's pushing for our rights as well as pushing for girls to join STEM. Horace is the co-founder of the Half for Tech organization that's been pushing to grow the expertise of girls and young ladies in not only cybersecurity, but science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Horace, may you please come on stage? Okay, so it seems he's just moved for a bit, but we're going to proceed. Next, I'm going to call on our next speaker. Our next speaker, if most of us attended the first day of our conference, she's been with us throughout, and she's been a motivation to all of us. Our next speaker is Elizabeth Mwale. Elizabeth Mwale is the co-founder of Tech Pro Malawi. That is pretty much doing the same thing as Horace's organization is doing. She is encouraging ladies in tech as well as trying to groom them, especially in the cybersecurity field. May we please clap hands for Elizabeth Mwale. Okay, our final panelist is Wezi Luheke. So Wezi, if you can please come on stage and share with us your views. So Wezi Lukere, sorry, apologies. Our final panelist is Wezi Lukere. So he, as introduced yesterday, was a lecturer at Malawi University of Science and Technology. He's taught a lot of people in the country and is still educating. So as we're going to have him on the panel today, he's going to share with us his experience, especially in the hiring process. Thank you so much. Okay. So I understand that most of us would love to be in a good place, would love to have good jobs and make a living for ourselves. So these people on stage with us are going to help us with all of that, as well as aligning our skills so that employers can easily identify us in a pool of applicants. Our panelists, you're welcome. So we're going to just dive right in and go to our first question. So I'm going to start this question with Elizabeth. I know you're well prepared. So our question for you is, from your perspective, how has the hiring landscape in cybersecurity evolved over the past few years, particularly regarding gender diversity? Elizabeth.
Can you come again?
From your perspective,
Yes.
how has the hiring landscape in cybersecurity evolved over the past few years, particularly regarding gender diversity?
I think I'll start with explaining about the women not being available in that field. So the hiring process has been a little bit harder because women, we are not there. And we are not, I think we are not ready to expose ourselves in those positions, because to access those skills, yesterday I was having a conversation with one of my friends who told me that, you know, I started this certification course, but after I saw the content, I said, no, I think I should not do it. So there is no that interest of young women in joining the field, which is leading to the gender gap in the field. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. You know, when we're having people on stage, it's always good to show them that they're doing a good job. So I'm going to ask you to give her a big hand. Thank you so much. So the next question is going to go to Wezi. Wezi is a very technical person, as he did introduce himself yesterday. He has a lot of experience, not only in cybersecurity, but including database and IT in general. So Wezi, you as a technical person, what other skills have you seen relevant for one to be in cybersecurity, other than the technical ones?
All right, okay. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. The other aspects that actually employers look for in terms of skills, apart from the technical, is whereby you demonstrate that you are a good person. Like, you can be able to interact with your colleagues, and also you're able to learn from the organization's perspectives, like the jobs that actually would be in front of you. Would you be able to adjust? If you don't have the skills, would you still be able to adjust? So you should demonstrate that you actually can be able to adjust, learn fast. So some of the questions that come from the panel, they would ask you some scenarios, and then you have to be able to respond to those scenarios, and they will see, okay, this person, though he doesn't have the technical skills, but if we actually engage him, he might be able to learn those skills. So the scenarios will be the ones that actually would be able to measure your capability in terms of your skills apart from the technical ones.
Thank you so much, Wezi, and that is very true. I hope we're all taking note of this. Are we? Yes. Okay, the people that I'm hearing responding to me are people that are already employed. It just shows me that you don't want to work. So ladies, we're pushing to be independent. We're pushing to have our own homes, isn't it? I think the First Lady did mention something last week. She was in Zomba last week, and she did mention something to say, you have to reach a point where when you argue with your husband, you say, I'm buying another house. I'm going to my other house. So you won't be able to do that if you're not motivated by this conversation. So thank you so much, Wezi, for that. This question now goes to our next speaker, Dismas. Thank you for being on the panel today. So your question is, what are the key trends or shifts? What are the key trends or shifts that you've noticed in the skills and qualifications that employers prioritize in cybersecurity candidates?
Thank you very much, Ella, for having me to take part in this very important session. I would say, from my perspective, I don't have any written notes about this. I've just been informed that I need to participate, and I will speak out of my experience. From my perspective, the employment practices have changed over the years to align with developments in technology or in the society. We have new technologies emerging, new regulations emerging, and those require skilled people to actually fit some of the roles that are emerging as a result of that. One of the things as an employer would be looking for in terms of recruiting for some of these emerging disciplines is, in addition to academic qualifications, professional qualifications, and professional membership affiliations. If I was hiring a lawyer, obviously I would pay interest in terms of what academic qualifications the candidate has, but perhaps even more importantly, their standing in the society, in the professional society. The Bar Association, if I'm looking for somebody in cybersecurity, I want to look and see what your standing is in that fraternity. We have bodies like the International Information System Security Certification Consortium, ISC squared, the ISACA, which is the Information Systems Audit and Control Association. You have national computer associations, which develop curriculum that address some of the emerging societal needs in terms of cybersecurity practice. Certification has got a lot of value. Membership in professional bodies has got a lot of value because it implies that it actually means that you have taken your profession seriously. There is ethical practice and codes of practice, and that in the event that you do something that is unprofessional, you can be reported to the profession for sanctioning. If you look at medical practitioners, they have their own code of ethics. Lawyers have the same. And so what I'm basically saying is, look at your value proposition as a candidate. What is your value proposition? What do you want to bring to the organization that you want to work for? Why are you interested in a specific discipline? And is there a cultural fit between your value proposition and the organization that you want to work for? Thank you.
I like how you're now clapping on your own. I was about to say it. Thank you so much. It just shows me that you're listening. I really appreciate that. So I hope we're all taking notes. You know, one thing is, majority of you have been coming to me and asking me, how can I get an internship? What did you do? So you need to listen to these points, because I did not just start off and my CV was excellent. It was not. Even some employers thought, So you need to take note of whatever they're saying, because it's going to help you as well when you're job hunting. So our next question goes to Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is an employer, by the way. So Elizabeth, your question is, interviews can be nerve-wracking, especially in a technical field like cybersecurity. What do you look for in a candidate during an interview beyond technical expertise? So please listen to the employer, please.
Yeah, so I think the first thing that I can look in a person is confidence. So the person has to show that she or he is capable of doing what is required to be done. So confidence is number one. Number two is how the person is representing him or herself, off-site as well as online. Currently, when you're looking for a person, CV is not just what is written on the paper. It also goes beyond your characters, the way you behave on social medias. So that is also another big portion of it. I normally encourage the girls that I'm mentoring that you need to know and understand the importance, or I should say you need to understand the impact that can bring to you from the posts that you normally update on your social media platform. So those are the qualities that I can look in a candidate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you. Okay, we have a comment from Dismas.
In terms of skills, if I was an employer and interviewing a candidate for a position, there is often this question, tell us about yourself. Who are you? What is the appropriate response? When you are faced with such a question, don't repeat what is on your CV, because anyway, by the time we invite you to an interview, We have already read your CV, so we know. The question basically seeks to see, to inform the employer, the prospective employer, your own understanding and interest in the position that you have expressed interest for. Why do you want this job? How will it contribute to your professional well-being? What in return can we as an employer expect you to make as a contribution? And what will success in your perspective, if you are successful, look like in this position? What do you see as some of the opportunities and challenges to fulfilling your responsibility if you are hired? The second thing is, often when you are told this position is vacant, you need to apply for it, it's advertised publicly, or it's from maybe a talent pool, don't just list tasks that you have undertaken. Separate tasks or what you are required to do as responsibilities from your achievements. And avoid stating things like we. Bring out your individual contribution in every task that you are involved in from your previous employment. To emphasize the point that Liz talked about, whatever you post on social media, and you see a lot of organizations these days tell you to provide your social media handles, LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything. They actually go back to see the kind of person, because there's a lot that you can learn about somebody from their status on WhatsApp. I always do that to try to understand people. And these are things that you could be doing innocently, yet you don't know that they could actually affect your opportunities in terms of employment. Thank you.
So we have an addition from Wezi as well.
Yeah. So for me, actually, when I actually want to hire someone, I would ask a scenario-based question. So in response to the scenario-based question, I would rather prefer someone to do this, what we call STAR. Explain a situation, like S for situation, and then T for the task, the actual task that you really did, and then action, what was the action that was done, and then the results, what were the results. So when you're actually looking at the job description, they normally put some job descriptions. For each job description, you probably have to find something that you can explain in line with the STAR situation. You have to think of the situation which you had carried out that specific role. Despite that, sometimes you might be a fresh graduate, but sometimes it's important that whilst you're at the university, you start doing some stuff that relates to your field. Because if they've just called you for interview, though you are a fresh graduate, just know that they've actually seen some capabilities in you. So make sure that you have all the situations related to that specific role which they've put in the job advert. So that's what I actually would prefer for the candidate to really actually be able to articulate those, and then if you do a good job, then you'll be hired.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So as you've heard, you have to make sure you align your CV with the post that you're applying for. I'm not saying you should lie, but align. So as already said by Dismas as well, that when employers ask you who you are, you need to have the confidence to say who you are or how you want to be viewed by the people on the panel. It's not relevant for you to tell them you're 5 at home and you like to eat 2 meals a day. It's not relevant. And I think now, as we finish today being our last day, let us keep note that we need to show our contributions in whatever we take part in. So I shouldn't see any of you going on LinkedIn and say, we attended. Who's we? You need to say, I attended, okay? I'm not hearing a response, please. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go on to ask the final questions to our panelists. So this next one was actually for Wezi. How can networking and mentorship play a role in improving one's chances of being hired in the cybersecurity field?
Come again? Come again?
Oh, again,
Yeah.
okay, apologies. How can networking and mentorship play a role in improving one's chances of being hired in the cybersecurity field?
All right. Thank you very much. Mentoring and then networking actually can lead someone to have some chances of getting a big job or something like that in cybersecurity. Just because when someone is mentored, he actually gets some skills. Like you saw those 3 girls that we're trying to mentor. Those gaining some skills. If a job requires someone to be an incident responder, they might be hired. If someone is looking for a penetration tester, like what you saw, what they were doing, they were more or less like trying to penetrate a system. So mentorship in that regard would actually help them position them in a way that they would be able to be hired. And you see here, we've got lots of people here, so they've seen those girls. They might also decide, so, okay, where are those girls? And then might actually be picked for. So this is more or less like interaction that we're actually having. And I'll also give some examples, like I've got one gentleman, Nathan, I've mentored him, he's now a lecturer at Investors. I've been telling you throughout. It's because through mentorship, that's when he got more skills. Mentoring shouldn't only be where you just tell them what to do, but you also have to be paying them money. Or sometimes you mentor, and then you just leave them. They don't get motivated because they say, I'm just doing it for free for this gentleman or for this organization. But if you mentor someone, make sure that you attach them to real life projects. The projects that when they actually see them, they'll say, oh yes, I'm really doing the right job. And then later on, it becomes easier. Let me give you an example. He was actually sharing me one story that actually, I think we agreed already that I should actually say this as an example. What happened was before he was hired at MAST, there was a question which actually the panelists said if someone responds to this question, that person will be a successful person. So he was the one who actually answered that question. It was to do with cybersecurity aspects. And then he actually confessed that usually it's because I got experience from the mentorship that we had. So mentorship can actually build someone experience, like hands-on experience, because usually technical jobs would require someone who is hands-on. So mentorship is really good. And in terms of interaction with the team as we are doing here is very good because people know who you are, what you do, and your skills, and then it can position you in a position where you would be able to be hired, or people will know that, okay, this person has got these skills. If you need such a person, why can't we contact this person? So I think those are some of the things that probably would put someone in a big position.
Can I add in?
Can you clap hands for me, please?
Let me add to that. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I can give an example of myself as a successful product of networking, because I'll give an example. Like some of us here, we came starting from the first day of the conference up until now, but we didn't give ourselves an opportunity to go and meet someone new and to know that person, and maybe to ask how you can, he or she can be helpful to you. So in terms of networking, I think it is also a powerful tool for the success of a career, because There are so many opportunities that have come on my way through networking. Others, they just recommended me because they saw that I was available on a certain time, but it was the right time, yeah? So I can say networking is very powerful tool for you to excel in this field. Don't be shy to go and speak to anyone. You cannot just come into a conference like this one and you sit on a chair without even saying, how are you? No, that's not right. You need to, at least by the end of the conference, go and meet someone you feel he or she can help you in one way or the other. You'll be surprised by the outcome of that connection. Thank you.
I am tempted to also add my voice to this. We cannot talk about networking and mentorship without talking about the forums that make this possible. One of the things that you need to look at is, for example, at a conference like this, if you are an aspiring young professional, whose contacts have you actually taken? And how are you going to make use of those contacts? Right? Apart from forums like these ones, and why do they matter? They matter because, as a professional, even with all my experience of, I didn't want to scare people, I said I have more than 25 years, but it's actually a lot more than that. I still get challenges in what I do, which I've been doing for so many years. It gets to a point where I get stuck. I want some resources, I want somebody to give me a second opinion to what I want to do. Now, because I have a good network of professionals through forums like this, through the professional association, I can actually ask somebody to give me their opinion in terms of what I'm contemplating. It could be a technical subject, it could be something to do with management, and I can seek the opinion, or I may not have a tool that I want to use, or I may not know of the tools that I should use, and they can guide me. And therefore, if you network with the right people, you stand to gain from those kind of opportunities in terms of access to resources, skills, and talking to the right people that actually make decisions in big organizations. The other thing is in terms of even social networking. Let me tell you. For example, I play golf when I have time. And on the golf course, you know, you talk about social life, what somebody does, they tell you I went to this school. Let me tell you, if somebody told me today that they went to the same university that I went, and they were qualified and have two candidates that have made it to the final stage, and they are equally qualified, who do you think I'm likely to go for? Is the person who told me that they went to Warwick like I did. Or somebody like, if you went to Harvard, I went to Harvard, somebody says, I went to Harvard, you told somebody I went to Harvard, and they also went there, they will most likely, because they know the culture, the basics that Harvard or Warwick taught you, so they assume that actually those were inculcated in you and they have become part of your DNA. So in terms of cultural fitness, it is more likely that you can get along. Let me tell you, employment is beyond academic and professional qualifications. Do we have a chemistry? Can we work together? Right? And that is absolutely important. In terms of mentorship programs, and this is something that I encourage employers to consider, and even yourselves as young professionals, identify some industry captain, somebody who's seasoned in the industry. Talk to them and tell them, I would like every month maybe just your 1 hour to have a chat with you so that you can guide me. In employment, in your office, even if it is not your direct manager, get somebody that you can consider as a role model, talk to them and ask them to hold your hand so that you can actually professionally grow in your career. Thank you.
Apologies, I actually just remembered something, apologies. Also in interaction, you actually can get good referees, because sometimes if you don't have a good referee, though you write a good CV, but then employers would ask a referee about your background and all that. So in interaction, you actually can have someone who can be a good referee, not necessarily a best friend or something, but it can be a good referee. So interaction would actually be good, that you actually get a good referee. And then the other thing that I wanted to say in networking, as we're doing it, you can get resources, as he's putting it, like can actually share you where to find jobs. Like sometimes you might be just looking at Malawi to say, okay, I'll be looking for the jobs in Malawi. Whilst when you interact, someone can actually tell you that, you see, we've got so many links that you can actually go to find jobs. Like, I'll give an example of UNDP. UNDP has got a portal where you can have, there are lots of jobs there where you can actually work as an internee, or you can work as those fresh graduates can also find jobs there, and then you can also find jobs in different countries. It's not only specialized in Malawi. So UNDP is overall, and they've got also EU, you've got GIZ, they all have portals where you can find jobs. I'll give an example. For me, this is a personal testimony. Actually also got a job in the Pacific region. I'm here in Malawi, but I managed to get a job in the Pacific through the portal, UNDP portal, where I just had to just apply. The links I just clicked and then say, okay, we're looking for this gentleman. And usually when you're trying to apply for those jobs out there, usually you don't have more people because people don't know about these, so you only have few. So the competition is not very, very intense. Unlike if you just look at Malawi, you see a lot of people just scrambling for that job. So I think it's good also to diversify, look at, so networking in short can actually give you those opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our panelists. So yes, it is very important to network. I am a product of networking myself. So another thing on top of networking is have very good interpersonal skills. If you come to me in hope of networking, but your body language is not speaking right, you are not speaking right, then we're not going to connect. So very good interpersonal skills are also very relevant. I got my first job because of networking, and I got to know people at Macra through networking. So please, please make sure you network with whoever that you can. So because of time, I'm going to ask our panelists just to say their final remarks. So we're going to start with Elizabeth all the way to Wezi. Thank you.
Yeah, so a lot has been said. All I can say is to encourage each and everyone here to feel comfortable, to network, and gain more skills in different, I should say, should not be afraid to seek for more knowledge in the field where you are. So that is because there is also another challenge that we have here in Malawi. Most of the times when we have forums outside the country, or maybe when there are links on the social media about the opportunities, normally we found out that we Malawians, we don't have that interest to apply. Maybe we just start by clicking the link, then we see the questions, then we stop there. So like our friends in different countries, they normally say Malawians, they don't show interest in applying these things. So the moment you see something that is aligned to what you are interested in, try to apply for it, and don't be lazy. Try your chances, grab the opportunities, and that will also be one way of excelling yourself in the field. Thank you.
In addition, I also wanted to say the following. First, in terms of how you present yourself through your CV. If you are a young graduate or a student, what kind of CV do you want to write and send to an employer? Either because in response to an advertised position, or unsolicited, blind application. Skills-based. You start with your current activity. If you are a student, you start with your education because that is what you are currently doing. Because you have insufficient experience and you don't want that to be the first thing an employer spots. Demonstrate to them in terms of your academic ability that you're actually doing something relevant, aligned to what they are looking for. Secondly, be aware that a number of organizations are increasingly recruiting from close rosters. For example, all the jobs actually I do are never advertised. I am directly contacted because I'm on 2 rosters of the UN global rosters. How did I get into the roster? Apart from being academically and professionally qualified, I knew the right people. They actually assisted me to get to the roster. All right? The other point I wanted to say is this. If you are looking for employment, for example, in organizations like World Bank or the United Nations or UNDP specifically, don't start imposing unrealistic limits on your ability and your chances by saying this is beyond your reach. If you play golf, you would understand when I say that you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You don't just wish for it, you must go for it. And we can no longer be talking about the sky surely being the limit when there have been human footprints on the moon since 1969. So nothing is beyond your reach, go for it. Try to create your profiles on some of these recruitment websites like the UNDP. They have young professionals and a number of other organizations have the same. Create your CV, put it there, and use it to respond to opportunities that arise. You never know when your day comes. All the best, and I wanted to say this also. I cannot promise that I can review all your CVs, but if you have requested to connect with me on LinkedIn, I will accept. If you want me to take a quick look at your CV, which is no guarantee to employment, I would be happy to do that. Personally, I try looking for so many jobs despite my experience, and I miss them, but I never give up. And you must never give up in life. Thank you.
Thank you. For me, actually, my last words are looking at the preparation of for interview. When time comes for you to now attend the interview, what you need to do is you have to rehearse. You don't just have to go to the interview blindly because you might be surprised on the type of questions that would come over there. So usually ask for people to actually help you rehearse, look at the job description. I've seen some of the students who've actually preparing for interview, they come to me and they say, how can we prepare for this role like cybersecurity? How do we do that? So what I actually normally tell them is look at the job description and you have those star scenarios, and also do a practical thing over there. Like for instance, do a passive check what the websites look like. If it's got some problems, just point them out, but don't hack it. Just do a passive check on the system, and then when you go to the interview there, you actually, if they ask you what would you bring to the table if you are hired, you can also mention some of those examples. You say, I've seen something on your website. I think there's a vulnerability somewhere here. So I think the solution is to do this, and then you do A, B, C, D, something like that. So in terms of experience, sometimes some jobs ask for experience. So I would advise those who are in school, universities, to normally try to do some practical things while studying, because then you'll be gaining some skills. I've seen other organizations picking students from candidates from university. You saw someone like yesterday. There was Yusuf. You remember Yusuf, the one who was from NBS Bank. Yeah, he actually was just picked from after finishing school. He went as an internee, and then they didn't actually release him as an internee, up to the extent that now he's a senior security engineer. But it actually originated from school. So when you actually develop those hands-on skills. When the lecturer or tutor is doing something to enhance your skills, make sure that you take an extra mile to actually do the hands-on and all that, build your skills whilst you are at university. Because employers sometimes will just go straight to the university. Who is the brightest kid here? And then they'll spot you and you get employed instead of saying, okay, I need to finish work, I start working, and then something like that. So it will actually help you a lot if you start working whilst you're in first year, second year, third year, then you already accumulated some skill sets. So, yeah, those are some of the things. And also on terms of CV, make sure that you actually download, for instance, if you're applying for a job related to EU, there are templates, CV templates, where you can just download them and align them based on your experience. And don't repeat, for each job change a CV as she has already put it. And then, yeah, so you can also have some guidance on how you do your CV. Most importantly, the referees. They can mess up your job opportunities if you don't take care of those. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our panelists. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to our audience today. And ladies, Wezi in his final statements did mention that you might come across a question where you're asked what you bring to the table. Please, please, the response is not, I am the table. Please. So yes, our dear panelists, thank you so much. This was very insightful, and please take time to network with them. You never know where your next opportunity is. And as we proceed, I'll lastly also tell you that networking is not enough, skills are not enough. Make sure that you are actually qualified. Thank you so much.
Maybe our response should be, we bring our own tables, ladies. Let's get right into our next agenda item. This one is on breaking barriers, inspirational stories of women leaders in cybersecurity. Our next presenter fits right into this category. She is Audrey Msini. She's from Ghana. She's an experienced information security professional with over 23 years of experience. She is the Chief Information Security and Risk Officer at the Ghana Association Bank, and she serves on the board of FIRST. FIRST is an international organization. It's a forum for cyber security incident responders. So she sits on this board. And she is also the Vice President for Women in Cybersecurity West Africa affiliate. So Audrey will join us online. Audrey, are you there? As our technical team is working to bring Audrey online, in this section, we also have just a bit from Jacqueline to also speak to us, because Jacqueline is also a leader in cybersecurity. She is leading her team in cloud engineering. So she also just wants to speak a little bit on this topic as well. Audrey?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, the floor is yours, Audrey.
I can hear you.
Please go ahead, the floor is yours.
Hello?
We can hear Audrey, but Audrey cannot hear us. technology is, so this is why we need you, ladies, to fix these problems for us. Bringing sanity to the chaos.
Okay.
Audrey, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Good
fine.
morning,
Go ahead.
everyone. My name is Audrey Mnisi Mreku, Mrs. Mreku, originally from a small country in Southern Africa, Eswatini. I'm based in Ghana now, and I'm fortunate to be here with you today, even though it's remotely. I was with you last year as well. It's here with you. Is my slide showing? I've prepared a slide. I know I have an accent, so I prepared a slide that will be shared with you later on so that you can follow through as I make my submissions. Is my slide on?
They are working to put them up.
Perfect. So yes, that is Audrey in a nutshell. As I was introduced, we can move on to the next slide. I'll talk about my personal background and the roles that I have. Madam Elizabeth, when she spoke about us not applying for those jobs, us not preparing ourselves enough to be able to be employed. I'm a motivational speaker. I don't even speak good English. But I've realized over the years that if you want something bad enough, the people who matter will not be marking your English, whether you're good with your tenses or your tenses are bad. So I went for it. Each time I'm given an opportunity to speak, I take that opportunity. Why? Because I know that I will change somebody's life out there. Even if it is just one person that I can be able to get through and motivate that person, that is enough for me. At Women in Cybersecurity West Africa, I'm a mentor and a coach. I never had the opportunity to be mentored or coached. Instead, I rather followed people on LinkedIn. I followed job articles, and I was looking at out for now. I have that they require, and how can I get it if I do not have it? At the same time, I'm like, I can't allow my sisters to be out there doing the whole circle that I did to get to where I am. Yet, there could be a shortcut. We need women in cybersecurity. So I try and make sure that I coach and I mentor. And my motto when it comes to mentorship is, if you want me to be your mentor, I will tell you for a short fact that you yourself get somebody that you mentor. Because as I am passing on this information to you, I want you to also be practicing on how you're going to pass it on to the next person so that you can learn even how to speak and understand somebody's environment and circumstance. It helps a lot. Then in return, I know that I have mentored one, and my mentee is also mentoring another person, so I have two mentees. It has been very, very helpful. In my career too, I've had the opportunity to influence policy with no political affiliation and with no law background. I was part of the team that put Ghana's Cybersecurity Act, we call it the Act 1038, together. Why? Because I had what it takes when it comes to cybersecurity. I had prepared myself. I speak the language when it comes to cybersecurity. And not having the law background or having a political affiliation or whatsoever, my CV could speak for itself. That I know what I wanted to achieve, and I knew what I was bringing to the table. I'm an expert. I saw myself as an expert, and I believed that I was an expert. Even though cybersecurity is so dynamic, I know I don't know everything. But try and learn a little bit of everything such that you can be able to speak to every point that you come across. When you look at training such as the CISSP, it's not even technical. But you are able to learn a lot in the domains there. You are able to speak to a lot of things. Even writing the exam is expensive. But if you just go through the training, you'll be able to speak to a lot of topics and domains within cybersecurity. That is very, very key. So you need to prepare yourselves. I also sit in the board for Forum of Incident Security Response Teams. Growing up, my father used to say, work hard so that your bankers can know you. You don't need to know. When you work hard, the people around you will know you. Your money will speak for yourself. That was not the case for me. But when it comes to this particular one, I love to travel. Loving to travel, I told myself that it's very expensive. I can't afford to travel. Being a member for the board for Forum Security Response Teams, being in cybersecurity has afforded me the opportunity to travel the world. I don't buy my tickets. I've been on almost all continents. I've never bought my ticket. The only ticket I've been buying for myself is when I'm visiting my family back in Swaziland. What does that tell you? It tells you that whatever you want as a young person, whatever you set out to do, you should want it hard enough and believe in yourself that you can achieve it. The universe will align. I'm currently serving my second term on the board. I'm the only African. And when I get there, I may not speak big about cybersecurity, but when it comes to presenting what the state of affairs in Africa, I come prepared. Such that when a time comes for somebody to give them a point of view of how things are from where I come from, I make it a point that I paint a picture that they've never seen about Africa and they're not aware of. They are willing to listen, and truly, truly, that is where I also got the courage to speak. Like I mentioned earlier, I might not speak good English, and I've been told this a number of times growing up and in my career as well, but that has never stopped me. Even in these big forums, I'm telling you, you not being able to speak big English or being fluent enough does not matter. I've been in situations where they even had an interpreter. For me, a Swazi girl from a small country in Southern Africa with only 1 million people, where I'm speaking in and I have an interpreter. So you need to believe in yourself. You need to be out there and want it bad enough. I'm also a parent to a teenager. And what scares me the most about cybersecurity today is that our children are online and all by themselves. We are nowhere near them as parents to guide them on how they can stay safe. So this has motivated me and has inspired me to actually form an NGO where we train parents on how to maneuver this parenthood domain and also speak to our children, bridge the gap between what the children are experiencing on TikTok, communicate it to parents, and help the parents understand the situation that our children find themselves. Because the pressure that I experienced when growing up is different from the pressure that you are getting right now. My influencers were my neighbors, were my people in school, but your influencers today are international stars, of which some of them, whatever you see out there is not even true. You know, with AI now, they change their pictures, they change where they are, they position themselves in countries and places that they are not in. Not every child will be able to understand that. So I took it upon myself, but I want to bridge this gap. I want to have conversations. I might not get all this information from my son, but I'll be able to get this information from other children that I engage with, and I'll be able to help their parents understand and appreciate the domain that their children find themselves in. I consider myself an expert. You need to be confident. The three speakers mentioned it, that you have to be able to speak confidently about what you have. You might not be somebody who knows everything, but if you know something and you prepare yourself. Wiser mentioned it, that even if you are going for interview, prepare yourself well, such that you can be able to speak to a point with confidence. It is confidence that they also, previous speakers also mentioned that they hire for. So I consider myself an expert. Deep down, the imposter syndrome is still there, which is also affecting you today, and that you think you cannot achieve this, you cannot apply for that position. Let me tell you something. Like 90% of the positions I have held, I have never qualified 100%. When I look at the job description or the requirements, I've never covered even 90% of the jobs I've received. Some of them are even covered only 50%. But I've taken advantage of the fact that I know that most women will not apply. Some of which were even smarter than me in college will not apply. But I went for it. So please, be the girl who decided that I will go for it. Because me, a small girl from Swaziland with only 1 million population, decided to even broaden my horizons and challenge myself more and move to Ghana where there are 40 million people. So be that girl. Next slide, please. I don't know what the situation is in Malawi, but with all the good work that we've been doing in Ghana and in West Africa, we've gotten to a point where our girls are saying, we've written all the certifications, but there's still no employment opportunities. There are quite a number of factors that cause this. One being the fact that our heads of HR in these institutions, they will take Wiser or Elizabeth CV, yet they are hiring for an entry job. So today, I want to paint a different picture to you and say that you do not have to be employed. There are other opportunities out there where you can be a business owner like Madam Elizabeth. Next slide, please. In yesterday's presentation, there was a gentleman from Bahrain. That is the presentation immediately after Sister Joyce from Botswana. If I can tell you how I met this gentleman before I actually even met him in person and the conversations that we've been having. He's a CEO, he's a founder for CTM 360, a cybersecurity firm where they sell vulnerability assessment solutions. If I can tell you my experience about this gentleman, I met with him, was telling me all about the solution, and I was like, how can I get this solution to Ghana? He said, oh, not a problem. Whenever you're ready, we can get onto a Zoom call and I can train you on the portal on how we can use it. Then once you know what it is all about, it will be easy for you to go and sell it. And if you need me to come in and I have an entire team that can join in, we are even willing to come to Ghana and resell the solution. I'm like, nah, where I'm sitting right now, I can't be a reseller. But what is stopping you in Malawi to actually reach out to the gentleman and say, I am in Malawi, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. There are quite a number of solutions which are out there and people that we know are behind these solutions that we can actually reach out to and say, train me, let me be a reseller. Open your own small SME, go and register it properly, follow protocol. Register for your tax and be a company in good standing. Then engage with them when they are, because they will not partner with somebody who doesn't have a registered company, who doesn't have, who doesn't pay, who's not willing to pay taxes. You know, all these things position you very well. So please, let us stop seeking employment. Let we rather have the opportunity to create employment. One thing that we are born with as women is the instincts of telling whether this person is a good person or a bad person. Sometimes we even know how things will turn out from the beginning, but we decide to drop those red flags. So let us use those instincts and be employers. Let us create jobs and not look at how we can be employed. Not everyone is meant to be an employee anyways. So there are opportunities. Like I am saying today, reach out to whosoever, reach out to Madam Elizabeth. How can I also start up my own institution? whilst you are even still employed, this is one area that I really want to venture into right now. Being an employer myself. I want to start up my own company. I've worked for so many companies and just look back that what these companies, or I had shares in these companies. Next slide, please. So another thing that you can do, apart from being a reseller for these trusted brands, remember I mentioned that it should be a trusted brand. You can offer your expertise. Now that you've gone through your cybersecurity trainings and you speak the cybersecurity language, start up your own firm. Do consultancy services. I mentioned earlier that the reason today we are even unable to get jobs is because the heads of HR in the banks, be it in the telecommunications sector, almost all of them, they are not conversant about this particular domain, which is cybersecurity. Can you imagine you're running your own expert consulting firm and you offer even something like training, where you actually bring in these heads of HR and you say, half a day training, let me talk to you about cybersecurity, the path we take as cybersecurity professionals. So another thing that you also need to leverage on is the soft skills. The previous speaker spoke about this. Cybersecurity is not just about the technical skills. There are so many other skills in cybersecurity which are not about coding or ethical hacking. Even training people on cybersecurity, we are within the cybersecurity domain. So be out there, find out what you can do about cybersecurity. Instead of doing it for an institution, rather try and set up your own organization and do it for people. Organize events where you are going to, I'm not too sure how many events you have in Malawi on cybersecurity. For all you know, this might be the only one for looking at women or any other group of people. Who is taking care of SMEs in Malawi when it comes to cybersecurity? Most of them right now, they need to get funding or they need to affiliate to certain institutions or even registration. They require for them to be certified in cybersecurity or to even have these policies. Just draft the policies for them and charge your good money sitting at home. You can, when you grow, then you can have an office somewhere. Next slide, please. This is the easiest. I'm sure all of you are already on social media. You see how much money people are making on social media, talking about things that are not even true, things that don't even add value, things that we consume, things that we spend so much time, we can't even replicate. Can you imagine if you set up your own business on social media where you definitely have to separate it from your personal account, then be an affiliate to some of these big giant institutions. Before you even get to that position where you can be an affiliate for these giant cybersecurity or tech firms, build your followership. Listen to the previous content which has been presented in this workshop, in this conference. Put down your notes, jot them all down. Just even the previous one, before my presentation, so much was said. Pick a tip from each one of the speakers and do a tip of the day on your social media platform. More people will come in to join. Just by repeating what other people have said, you can grow your followership. Once you have a lot of people following you, and then you have maybe like 500,000, I don't know what the population of Malawi is, but it is cybersecurity is borderless, social media is borderless. Immediately, some people will actually even be excited by your accent, that you speak differently, you know. Be out there, let's develop this content. One thing I like about social media is that once you develop the content, as long as, even if it's 5 years old or 2 years old, as long as people are still viewing it, you are making your money, you are making your money. So please, there is so much we can do, and apart from just looking for employment. And remember, once you become a content creator, You don't have to edit your own videos. You can find somebody to edit your videos for you. You've created employment, you know? You can find somebody now to actually even shoot your videos. You can even now hire young people, find out from them, use them as your research group. What do you want me to talk about? You know, before you know it, whosoever mentions one that will resonate with your current status, then you can use that and develop your content. Let us be job creators instead of job seekers. There's so much we can do. For now, I'll just leave you with the three. Try and dive deep and look into this and see what else can I do out of this. Do research. There's a lot that we can do together. Reach out to some people who are already doing this. But then remember that yours is unique, is in cybersecurity, because that is where you have your expertise. Next slide, please. Now, with all this, one would ask, where do I start? It doesn't look simple. I don't know who to reach out to. The important thing is know yourself. Once you know yourself, like I can speak, know yourself, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. Once you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses and you know your passion, I would say follow your passion. When you follow your passion, using your strengths and expertise, things will come easy for you. But you can't just follow your passion without the expertise. So you need that strong CV. You need to be able to speak that language. That will also help you in developing your network. Because you can't just be saying, I'm building a strong network. When you're connecting with these people that will push you or elevate you to your next level, you need to speak the same language. You are going to play golf. They'll be asking you, what is your handicap? You need to know what handicap is. In cybersecurity, what level have you reached? Oh, I'm CCISSP certified. Then, oh, people will know. Wiser will know that, oh, okay, she's there. So it's very important as you are identifying yourself, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your strengths, and be able to build yourself in such a way that you can have a conversation with a lot of people about, be it about money, because right now you're an entrepreneur. You need to know who to go to. Understand balance sheets. Understand profit in simple terms that I use in business. Understand investment terms. We have a technology right now that we can leverage on. WhatsApp, I'm told, has an AI feature right now. You can actually chat on WhatsApp. You don't need to subscribe to the chat GPTs. Ask WhatsApp, what's happening in Malawi? Where are entrepreneurs meeting? What are the available networks? How can I join these networks? Then go to LinkedIn and find out who are the people within these networks. Reach out to them. This is what I plan to do. Nobody is doing it, and I believe that I can do it. Help me get into these networks. People are happy and excited to handhold you if they see that you are hungry enough. I think Madam Elizabeth mentioned earlier in her presentation that apart from all the expertise and everything, we look out for attitude when we're hiring, not just in hiring. Even when you're meeting your mentors, you come and you show body language that I'm doing it just because I have to do it. It will not work. So when you're even building your strong networks, have the right mentality, be hungry for all this, and it will pan out. Speak the language that they are speaking. Don't use wrong terminology. For me, I always look out for attitude. I look out at how hungry do you want this. Even without meeting all the criteria that are put down when we're being hired, I look at those things, I'm like, this child is hungry enough, she can do it. I can vouch for this child, but just sitting with you for maybe 30 minutes, having a discussion. And I'm like, okay, I don't know you personally, but from our interaction, I am willing to put my name down and be your referee. And because my name has been trending a bit within the cybersecurity space, when they see that your referee is somebody somebody like Audrey, they might say, okay, Audrey will not stick her neck out for just anybody. So you might have that opportunity to be even called to come and pitch your business plan just because you have the right referees on your CV. Try and stay informed. When you're networking, you have to talk about the latest, what's trending. You have to talk about what's happening on Wall Street. So you need to find out what's trending in cybersecurity. What are the latest threats? What are the latest solutions? What's happening at UN level? You know, find out what treaties are being signed somewhere. Is Malawi part of those treaties already? You know, you get the opportunity to sit with the minister, or even if that's 2 seconds, to ask the minister a question. As Madam Minister, in my case is a Madam Minister, when is Ghana going to assent to this treaty? You know, because you know that Malawi is already not part of that treaty. What is being done? You know, by exposing yourself, by speaking about trending and relevant information, there's, okay, this child has content. Bring her close. I have seen this work. It has worked for me. I know it can work for you as well. So please, stay informed. Where do you go to stay informed? In my case, I subscribe a lot. One website I can refer to you right now, where you can even listen to previous conversations about what's trending in any sector, is Bright Talk, and it's free. The big conversations, the conferences that you can't attend, what most people do after the conference, they take the content and they place it on Bright Talk. Use YouTube as well. Good content is out there. It will help even when you don't understand a subject. You're not the subject matter expert. Go to Bright Talk. Listen to this content which is out there. Before you know it, you'll just be hashing what has been said in there, because it has been tried and tested and it has been said in bigger platforms. Chances are 99% it is true, other than you trying to Google and stressing yourself and trying to find out what is happening. That is my go-to place, brighttalk.com. Subscribe, it's free. You can search about all the talks, anything that you can think of within cybersecurity, it has been discussed. You don't understand encryption, you don't understand open banking, you don't understand cryptocurrency and how it relates to the industry. Go in there, there's a talk. Somebody has done it. Do not reinvent the wheel. Now that you have a business, you can't just start selling your business. You need to position yourself for funding. Like I mentioned earlier, nobody will fund a business that is not registered. Nobody will fund a business that is not willing to subscribe to the existing country laws. So you need to be paying to pay taxes. You're a registered business, you're willing to pay taxes. And two, then it puts you in a better position to even pitch your business to people. It puts you in a better position to even schedule a meeting with a CIO of the telecommunications company and say, I'm reselling this solution, the name of my company is this, and this is what we do. When can I come and see you? That boldness shows that you are serious. Even when they say, okay, these are the procedures you follow to become our vendor. You have all your papers in order. You'll be able to be listed as a potential vendor or a supplier for any institution if you have all your papers in place. I want to talk more about funding. I did a little bit of research when I was preparing for this talk. Next slide, please. Lo and behold, I realized both public sector and private sector are already having opportunities for funding in Malawi. This was from the internet. I didn't call anyone. The government of Malawi has initiatives that are willing to support you. So what is stopping you? Why are you still seeking employment? When the government is saying SMEs, this conference that we are in right now is being organized by the government. So you can imagine if you come up and say that from the conference, this is what I have learned, what opportunities are out there for me. It goes to show the commitment that the Malawi government has for its SMEs. And I can bet you not many of them are coming from the background. So you are on the lead. If today you are going to try and pick up the 3 points that I've given you, or even more, research and learn more, and try and subscribe to this thing. Find out who is behind it. You can even Google it. There's so much information about it, and find where the offices are. There's always an officer in government who has been employed to speak to people about this. Worry them, find time, take a day off, go to the government offices and find out. Right now, I work for the financial institutions. You would be surprised the opportunities that are there. But in most cases, we only go to the banks and we do not have the right supporting documents. What we have realized in Ghana is that even when they offer loans, the non-performing loans, the bad loans, are mostly men. So banks are willing to partner with women because we are risk averse. We are scared of debt, even though we like buying and shopping. But for some reason, when it comes to borrowing and paying back, women have a higher rate of paying back. So there's the National Bank of Malawi, which is offering SMEs loans and product services, and they have support. So today you can say, I just registered my company. How can I get funding? They will tell you, okay, this is the criteria. Go and run your business. Show us that you are for profit. Show us that you are paying your taxes. Then come back to us and let's have a discussion. Right now, the good thing is you don't only have to show tangible results to show that you're running a business. Banks even take services and they know that you can actually sell a service. So if you are saying, I organize events, and these are the previous events that I have organized. I've trained HR from these institutions. This is how much I charge per person. This is, just show that you are doing some form of bookkeeping and take advantage of the SME clinics that they have. Banks have solutions, they have support for their SMEs. Why? Because they're also worried about the money they've given their SMEs. They need that money paid back. So let that relationship manager of the bank know that you are an aspiring SME, you are interested in attending their SME clinics, sit in there, learn. By being in that SME clinic, you have the opportunity to network. Now there's value chain when you sit in these SME clinics. Why? Because people will be selling other services and products. Then that is when you get the opportunity to find out, how are you protecting your data? How are your customers paying? How can I help you secure your relationships with your customers? There's a lady that I know in Ghana whom I met in one of the SME clinics. She actually came up to me and said, I run a business online, but my account keeps on getting hacked and people are replicating my work. In just 15 minutes of our conversation, she was able to get a number of, it was a group of us, she was able to get free support. Told her how she can actually even secure that her account and have it registered. It has a blue tick now, and how she can actually even brand her material that she posts online, such that if it is branded and it is linked to her page, if somebody comes to steal her content and replicates it, the people who are watching will see that this doesn't tie with the name of the product or of the page that is trying to resell or trying to copy the original business. So when you're networking, be out there, be intentional. There's so much support out there for you. And I would urge all of you to request for the slides. I might have been speaking too fast because I'm very passionate about cybersecurity. Reach out to the organizers, and you can also reach out to me. They have my contact. Unfortunately, I forgot to add a slide where I talk about how you can reach out to me. But I'm definitely on LinkedIn. Just look out for Audrey Nisi. I'm there. You can search maybe using Women in Cybersecurity, or you can search using First Forum for Incident Response. My name comes up. Thank you very much. So I'll be ready for any questions if there are any questions.
Thank you, Audrey, for your presentation and for taking time off to join us. We will let you go because we are rushing against time. So thank you once again, Audrey, for joining us. I'll ask Jacqueline. She wanted to speak to us for 5 minutes.
Hi everyone, how are we all doing today? It's the last of the event. How do you feel about it? I feel like by now you should be talking with excitement. You've had people just pour into you. Your cup right now should be overflowing. Why are we not having some excitement going on? How are you guys doing? Good, it's better like that. So these events, we say they usually have a threefold to them. One, to be able to talk to our allies on how they can sustain us better. Two, to the ladies who already made it, how do they keep the doors open for us to continue walking through them? And three, to you as an individual trying to come into the cybersecurity space or pivot or even redefine yourself in the space. So you had a role to play in this event. Do you think you've accomplished what you wanted to do? By the show of hands, who thinks they've actually accomplished what they wanted to do today? It's been 3 days. I hope you came here with an agenda. 3 days of being here. Have you accomplished what you set out to get? Do you feel rejuvenated? Do you feel like you have the will and the zeal to keep going and fight? Yes, because that is what we are here all about. Every year on March 8th, we celebrate women who are doing amazing in this space, right? But do you ever get to celebrate yourself? And if you don't celebrate yourself, why are you not doing that? Every year, March 8th is an anniversary for you to celebrate the impact you've made in your life. That particular year, your year started very differently, and you dreamt and said, I want to do this, I want to do that. On March 8th the next year, the moments of feeling confused or lost or a million and one emotions are behind the scenes when we're trying to build our careers. Today, the motivation is you will never see the ugly bits, you will see the glamorous bits. You have a choice to make, to choose, will you be on that side of the table 24/7 in your life, or will you work and ensure that you're moving sides? If you became an attendee this year, next year, let's see you become a speaker or panelist or something. If you're on the different side of a team where you are a beginner or someone inspiring to be in the space, next year, let's hear we have so many people who've been in the cybersecurity space, they are studying and they're trying to make sense. We can choose to have a different conversation next year on how do we try and position all 200 plus ladies of you into job opportunities in the Malawi and beyond Malawi spaces. Every year it's not a conversation of how do we get ladies into the space. We want to come here and be challenged by you ladies telling us we're now upskilled, what next? So it's time for us to talk about what next in these spaces. So I want to leave you with a quote that I usually live by because in this life you have to have something. So there's this lady called Reese Witherspoon. She says, if you're one of those people who has a little voice in the back of your mind saying, maybe I could do this, shine, I could study this career, I could do all this, don't tell it to be quiet. Give it a little room to grow and try to find an environment where it can thrive. Every single day, life will present you with so many obstacles, but you have to choose to stay positive and survive beyond them all. And don't forget, I feel like we'll echo something that has been said so many times, network, network, network. And not just network up, network horizontal, vertical, like down, network with everyone. Because the lady seated next to you today might be a beginner, and you're a beginner. What does that make? Two beginners, right? You're able to create a community. The lady next to you is probably in a sector in this career that you want to be in, banking, but she's in security, and you're banking in financial, and you want to jump ship. She probably will be the ticket you use to move life. So network everywhere, vertical, horizontal, and downwards. And above all, let's be bold to go out there and live our dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our last agenda item. I hope you are ready for this one. This will be an exciting one, a high-level panel, which will talk about, we're talking about cyberbullying. And this panel will be moderated by our board director for the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, Mrs. Mala Kawale. A hand for Mrs. Mala Kawale, everybody.
Good afternoon. I know we are tired. A session towards lunch hour is not probably the best, but bear with us. Could you just stand and stretch yourself, and then we just dive into the session. Just stand, stretch yourself, and then and tell your neighbor, be strong. We are about to get there. Thank you very much. You can be seated. I will be moderating this session. My name is Mala Kawale. I'm a leader, an expert in organizational leadership. Currently, I consult on organizational leadership. I am passionate with organizational development, organizational behavior, and excellence when it comes to performance of institutions. I'm very passionate about digital age communication. And this afternoon, we have a session on bullying and cyber harassment, and I'm privileged to introduce our panelists. The first panelist that we are having this afternoon is Justice Zone Ntaba. Please step forward. Let's give a round of applause. I do not have to say a lot about her biography. You know who she is. If you are in Malawi, you don't know about her, then you are not networking. You are not on the social media. You should know her. So it's a privilege for us having a high court judge being with us for the past 3 days. Thank you very much. And our next panelist is Honorable Finance Mwangonja. And I'll just give a bio for her. She's one of the youngest members of parliament in Malawi. And she's 28. She's a very strong woman who experienced online harassment and cyberbullying. And this afternoon, she'll be sharing with us her story and how she came out of that. And our final panelist is Mercy. Mercy, are you around? Mercy, yes, come forward. Mercy is a student from Chancellor College. She's a computer science student, so she will also give her perspective. As you can see that we have a diverse panelist with different experiences and also at different levels of understanding things from different perspectives. So it's an honor for me to have such a team to share their experiences with us. So we'll go more into practical and so this afternoon I have a privilege of being with you all, and I'm thrilled to guide this conversation with you all on cyberbullying, empowering women to overcome cyberbullying and online harassment. How many of us that are in here that have experienced cyberbullying or online harassment? Can we raise up our hands? Trust me, if you have not, you will one day. It's there. It's there. If you've not, you will one day. It's there. It's like somebody saying, I've never experienced somebody stealing from me. You know? This is where we are going. It's a different kind of theft. It's a different kind of crime that the digital world has created for us. Especially in an increasingly connected world, we know people before us have already said that internet has become a very, very powerful tool for communication, education, and social interaction. However, there is always the dark side, the cyberbullying and online harassment. We are talking of creating profiles, making money online, do so many positive things, but there are also the darker side, specifically for women. It's even worse, and it can have severe consequences on our mental health and even personal safety, including our professional lives. Today's discussions, it's not just about highlighting the challenges that women are facing, but also exploring actionable strategies to empower them to overcome these challenges. We will get into the root causes of cyberbullying, examining the impact on women across the different sectors, and discuss practical solutions that our panelists will give us on how we can implement them at individual level or organizational level as well as society level. So we are fortunate for us to have our panelists, and I will get into our first question regarding our discussions. Are we ready, ladies? Yes? Okay, thank you very much. So I would want Justice Ntaba just to open the floor. What are some of the common forms of cyberbullying that women in tech often face, and how do they impact their careers and well-being?
Okay, before I start, I'm going to just put up a quote by Demi Lovato. A lot of us listen to her songs, right? Yes, young ones should know this one. She said something very profound. She said, sitting behind a computer gives people a sense of anonymity, but everyone needs to realize that words, even the ones that they write online, have a strong power to hurt people. There's also another saying that says, if the negative words that were said to you could be written on your skin will be tattooed from head to toe. So when we talk about the common forms of online harassment and all that, we're talking about cyberbullying. A number of us, I'm hoping that from today on we'll stop doing that, especially when you're in college. You click up, you decide you're going to target someone. You start bullying them online on social media, and it's very often, it's common. And I've received cases where you've seen that Chancellor College has a few social media WhatsApp groups, and you've seen cases where people have been cyberbullied, and despite that those groups have rules, you find that people will even share pornographic materials on that. We've seen that. So you've got that, the cyberbullying, the sharing of offensive communication. You've got online gender-based violence. And online gender-based violence is in many forms. Women could be trolled, they could be cyber-stalked. I know there's all this hula baloo about I slid into his DMs. You young ones, sliding into DMs. You slide into DMs to the extent that it's stalker level. And yet, this boy keeps telling you, I don't want anything to do with this. But you continue sliding into his DMs. He blocks you, find another way of still sliding into his DMs. So you know what we're talking about. All those are abilities and things that are part of the law. These are things that you are going against. And for others, you even got to the extent, people used to call it revenge porn and consensual pornography. I'm going to tell you today why we should stop calling it that, but call it online sexual violence, because it has connotations. Where you've broken up with someone and you decide to share materials that you decided to share in the intimacy of your relationship. Now, when you're in a relationship, you have parameters, you have rules. There are certain things that are supposed to stay in between the two of you. But then you decide, because I broke it off with you. Sometimes it's not even because there's anonymity. Sometimes things just don't work out. Isn't that right? Says Guyenda basi, says Guyenda. Tisiane. Eti. But because Tasiana, as they say, and women are the culprits. We overlove. And in our overloving, we share more, including our intimate parts. Parts that we have not seen ourselves personally yet, you're sharing them with another person. So interestingly enough, those that come back to haunt us later on, I know it's the excitement of the relationship, but you're not committing any crime. By sharing with a partner, koma muzikumbukira kuti ndikapanga share chonchi chikatha chibwenzije munthu ndikumpanga share naye, and this same integrity ngati ineyo za iyeyo ndimuyalutsa za iyeyo sinimuyalutsa maofesi ake ndati amene wedi andidzulo mnamba za malamulo ake panali akuza kuti communications act ziliko kupino kodi uso ziliko zina ndi zinazo ku electronic transactions and cyber security act ziliko. When you have time, go through and read those laws. China sharing this, busy posting you've received a nude picture of Zoone. Immediately, who do you share it? Bestie. If you have 4 besties, you share to all 4 besties. That in itself is also a crime. Don't be part of the criminal syndicate that is sharing all this information. So they are also cyber stalking, cyber bullying, online harassment. We have talked about also online sexual-based violence or online gender-based violence. All these are offenses and types of bullying or cyber crimes that are committed against women online, as well as men commit them, and as well as us women committing them. Because sometimes always people believe it's the male people committing. We women can be vicious. A lot of these crimes that are online bullying, cyber stalking, are committed by us as women. And I think that's something that I want us to always come out of this and say, oh, women don't commit crimes. I said, Justice Kaira is out. Me and Justice Kaira do not look at your gender as an issue when you commit a crime. You're there as a perpetrator, you're a perpetrator, whether you're male or female. Yeah.
Thank you very much, my lady, for explaining that explicitly. I think we are understanding that when we are in this crime, gender doesn't matter. So let's take note of that. She has explained a lot of issues that will come back later, but right now I would want to go to Honorable Finance. If you can share your experience, especially as a victim of online harassment or cyberbullying, can you share it? Hello? Okay. Honorable Finance, if you can share your experience with online harassment, the effects on you as a person, and how did you overcome that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like you put it, Finance Magonjo, the youngest, not one of the youngest, but the youngest member of parliament in Malawi. So, thank you. So, in my opinion, cyberbullying can be deeply personal, and it can be very damaging. Most of the people that comment these harsh comments don't realize how impact it can give on somebody's mental health. I know this from a painful experience. In 2019, I gave an interview in my constituency. It was about a project. But then, in that interview, the response from the online, it was very criticism. People criticized literally everything about it. The target was not really about my professionalism. It was about my self-confidence, questioning my competence. Am I capable? Sometimes when you're just walking by, driving your car along the road, like everybody else, And for some reasons, let's just assume that your car has developed a fault. When some of the people see you, especially men, when they see you, they'll be like, oh, this is mine, right? That on its own, they're putting a dent on you to say, we women are the ones that are supposed to be committing mistakes, right? But what they do not realize is, I was the youngest member of parliament. I am the youngest member of parliament. Whatever somebody comments on my personal appearance, my self-worth doesn't affect what I am, right? I'll be the youngest member of parliament up to 2026. If somebody else comes in, then that will be a good thing. But that interview did not define who I was and what I am. These comments that people comment online, like I said, they will just be commenting for the sake of commenting, and most of the comments, they describe you as if they know you. They do not know you, right? They will be like, no, again, they will analyze the whole story. The story that you're not even aware of. And you'll be like, is that me? Right? But we have developed this culture whereby sometimes we just go online and see a picture of somebody. Now it's not only about finance. So talk about women in government, women in MDAs, women in different organizations and institutions. You just see a picture of somebody and you ask someone, what do you have? Before even hearing the full story, you've already started commenting. Oh no, she's this, she's that, she must be that. But what you do not know is that comment that you're putting up there is gonna live in that comment section forever, and it's going to deprive this person of, okay, thank you. It's going to change this person's confidence and the determination to work the way they were supposed to. Just because you somehow woke up in the morning and decided to describe this person the way the person is not. So this painful experience taught me so many things. And I can tell you, you do not know what the power that you possess, the self-belief that comes at that time, and the determination to show people that that's not what I am. The fineness that people used to describe maybe 2 years, 3 years ago, and the description that they can give out now, the fineness that I am is different. It's because then they were judging the fineness that they do not know. Thank you. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes these comments, the harsh comments, the backlash comments that we comment on a woman, especially those in public laws, you know, public figures, we do not really have to be as harsh as the way it is. In Malawi, it's just like it's our everyday meal. We just woke up in the morning without even checking what is it that I'm supposed to do today on my to-do list. You just go in line and start saying things that maybe that person might sue you and go to court. You have to be answerable at the court. Just because the next morning you just woke up and comment something on someone that you do not know. So it really affected me. At some point, I just felt like I'm exposed and I was vulnerable. But it also showed me that I am stronger than that, right? And I can do more. If I'm being honest, there was a positive side of it and there was a negative side of it, but I focused on the positive side of it. I did not focus on the negative side of it. So, thank you so much. The experience that I experienced, I found a profound lesson in resilience in it. And I also realized that I could use this story of mine, this painful story of mine. But now, I'm not actually supposed to be calling, I'm not supposed to be calling it a painful experience. It was a beautiful experience because it showed me how strong I am and how I can use it to teach other people that that does not define what you are, but you yourself and your uniqueness would define what you are. And when you overcome that, you come out even stronger. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think that's a beautiful explanation of resilience. When you've gone through a situation where you've been bullied, there's been a harassment, resilience, bouncing back. How do you do that? Focus on the positives. Is to focus on the positives of that particular situation. Tikumvana tsigana. Focus on the positives. You should remember that every story, despite the negatives, there are always the positives. Look for the positives that are coming out of that situation. That's the way to go. And I would give it to Justice Zwone to also speak on that.
I just wanted to add that the thing about living in this new space is that the harassment doesn't stop. That's the reality. And it's worse for some of us. I will tell you for a fact that I think I've been on this position for the last how many years? Since 2013, sitting on this bench. And I've been called all sorts of names. Hule for work, for something you've delivered. A judgment for work that you've done. You've been called, people would dig up your past, would dig up things that were wrong then, they still think they're right now. The issue is, this space, every one of us will be affected. And that's the reality of this new space that we're in. Because everybody feels by being behind that screen. I mean, I'm on my phone. Who's seeing me? I'm busy typing. You don't know me. You can't get to me. The good thing is nowadays you can get to me, right? But before that, but the thing is, the others that will hide behind bots, they will create pseudonyms, they'll go through VPNs, that by the time Bakra searches all that, it's been years, or a year has gone through. But the issue is, we all are going to be part of this, because it is a constant world. This world is the world we're actually living in right now. And so online violence, online harassment, and that's why I think the most important issue that everyone is talking about is, how do you ensure that you protect yourself? How do you ensure that you prevent it? And then how do you ensure that you promote it for others and for yourself as well? So for me, I will tell you this. Yes, name calling is going to come up of it. And for women, the biggest issue that you will realize that it's most of the harassment and the cyberbullying, the defamation, will always have a sexual connotation. Somehow, men's sexuality does not come into play. Zamajita zibambo, zimatoka zopo sainu ya zimai, koma zaiwe zimaka ndezo kuyalutsira. So, we also have to realize that as women, as girls, that even if you're doing it like the boy, like your brother in the same house, but your sexuality is always going to be weaponized against you. And more so online, because anybody can create anything online and can do everything online. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My next question goes to you, Mercy, as a student, a young person representing the young people here. How do you feel as an individual can identify and respond to cyberbullying incident? If somebody has bullied you or you've experienced an online harassment, as a young person you are hurt, and you don't know what to do, what is it that you think would be the right thing to do? What's your experience or the experience of other students?
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be among influential women in this panel discussion. Before I get to your question, I just wanted to point out something. I wanted to reiterate something that was said in the previous session. The session that we're talking about networking and all that stuff. So today I was approached by Ella. I met Ella last week in Zomba. We just met and then she told me that, oh, I think you should be part of the panel. I'm like, what? But yeah, I just want to encourage you guys that, you know, when you're at a place like this, make sure that you talk to someone. That person might remember you sometime. Pertaining to your question, I've seen a lot of cyberbullying cases, especially when you're in uni. These things are very common. For example, I can give an example of at our school, UNIMA. People had this other Instagram page. So it was UNIMA Confessions. So it's anonymous. It's anonymous. Like, you know, you go there, you post something, and then maybe you say out somebody's name. Oh, Mercy. Nagona gwagudi gwagudi. Oh, you do this. So people were using that platform. Like, you just go there. Oh, maybe I don't like this person. I'll just go there and just write something about them. And those comments were being posted. I can tell you that a lot of people who were posted on that page, you know, it's not a good space to be at. Like, you know, yourself, you know, some things are exposed about you, and when you're walking in the corridors, everybody knows about that thing. So it wasn't a good thing to be done. But one thing I've seen is that, as Justice Ntaba has already said, that we are in this space and we are going to experience these things. So the best thing we could do, first of all, these things are not good. They are prohibited by law. But the first thing, as a person, when you see these things, I think the best thing to do is not to take them to heart. Because, you know, people who usually do this are actually people who are lesser than you. Like, I'm telling you, because, you know, you can't intimidate somebody who, imagine, you can't go on social media and talk about a bus conductor. Like, why? But people, the ones that are being talked about are the ones that, you know, you see their potential, or they are influential people. So usually the ones that are talking are now those people that are lesser than them. So I think the best thing, thank you. The best thing you could do is not to take it to heart. And, you know, you should know your worth as a person. You should have your self-confidence, your self-esteem. Make sure you build your self-esteem and you know who you are. Okay, I'm this. Even if somebody says anything else, that's not gonna change me. The best thing you could do is, you know, to know yourself and have confidence in who you are. Another thing I could say is, because these things are not right, obviously you need to report. You need to report to responsible people who are responsible for handling such things. Maybe you could get help or raise awareness so that somebody else shouldn't experience the same thing. Like, for example, what I'm talking about, the confessions page. The student council had to make an investigation of, okay, who is behind this page? Who is busy sending these things to the people? But yeah, you need to report, and, you know, on your own, if you know that you're a victim of this, just know that, you know, this doesn't define me. I know it hurts. I know you may feel all sorts of things, but, you know, just in yourself, you just say, okay, this thing happened. There's nothing I can do about it now. Let me just go on with life, and I know who I am. Even if they say these things, actually, when you're a victim, or, you know, there are some things that have been posted about you, you should be excited. because that means you're doing something in this life.
Thank you very much for that. And I think as a follow-up question, I will start with Justice Ntaba, specifically because she pointed out that you have to report. Let's say you are somebody else, you know that, okay, they say I can report this or I can press charges, but I know the court process and everything else, it's cumbersome, I don't have any representative, and I'm just on my own. What advice would you give to the ladies in this room? What is it that they can do if they feel like on their own they don't have money, they can't press charges, they know that the case, they might not even win, but what steps would you advise them to take?
The good thing about all these media platforms is they have abilities for you to contact the owners behind them about certain things. So I think the first thing is you can contact Facebook. I know at Facebook, you can contact them if there's something that's going on for you. You would tell them it goes against community rules or whatever rules they have. Sometimes they will respond. Sometimes they take a bit of time to respond, but most times you do find some response that comes through it. If it's at a school space, the good thing about in your school, in the universities nowadays, is there was this move by, when you had the Gender Equality Act come through, the government and the Malawi Human Rights Commission developed what were called model sexual harassment policies. And all universities are supposed to have sexual harassment policies. I know UNIMA has, I know MAST has, I know Luana has. And under those policies, there are issues about who you can report to if you've been, even if it's online violence and online harassment, you are able to report that. That means disciplinary charges can come through. As I said, we have cases before the courts on those particular parameters coming through because they started with disciplinary hearings at the schools. The third thing that you can do, if you go back, I think if you remember yesterday, was it yesterday and today, Kelias and I think Ella were talking about CERT. You can report these things to CERT. I think if you can beam the presentation, if you go to you'll find that there are helplines, there are certain helplines that you can go through. So CERT has a helpline, isn't it? Is it 261? 261. Then you have Titandizane National Youth Helpline. Huh? I believe it's Titandizane, which is 116. Then you have, I'm just going to give you a few. Then you also have the ability, they call Lifeline, APS, is it APSCN? Something like that. They are a group of counselors. Sometimes you might not go through the court route. You just need mental or psychological help. They are available. Fountain of Life. If you noticed, Boniface talked about Fountain of Life. Fountain of Life also have counselors that actually help out. So you have both the legal route through your universities, through your offices, through the criminal prosecution route if it's too long. You also have a civil route. There are a couple of women lawyers in this space. Can you all stand up? Women lawyers. Everybody should not always think that at the back, do not sit down at all, you woman lawyer that is in the back, stand. The reason why I'm asking these women to sit up is because they are charged in doing pro bono work. Pro bono work requires that they find cases where they can represent people for free. So you don't have to do a criminal prosecution. They can prosecute. They can seek consent from the DPP to prosecute on your behalf if you don't have money. But you can also do what we call civil cases. You can bring a civil suit against the person who's harassed you, and these women can do it. So the reason why I make them stand up, you can sit, is that you should know that they have a legal obligation because it's part of their licensing to actually undertake pro bono cases. So there's all those issues that are available to anyone who's been harassed out there to actually seek redress without just having to say, I'll go report it to police.
Thank you very much. My next question goes to you, Honorable Finance. Just also on your experience as well. What practical steps did you take as a person after being harassed online? What practical steps did you take that you feel they really helped you to overcome the effects of bullying? And also just share the effects of bullying. How did it affect you personally in your life? Emotionally, psychologically, if you can share that as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with the first question about the steps that I took. First and foremost, I sought out networking help. The thing with seeking out networking help sometimes can come in positively and negatively as well. Because when you say seek out networking help, we're talking about colleagues, friends, and mentors. The thing with friends and colleagues is you might trust them and go to them to cry on their shoulders and say this, that has happened. But the problem is the best friend, your best friend has got a best friend. And that best friend has got a best friend, right? So you're telling them that you're vulnerable, remember. You're telling them that, and then they are forwarding those messages to their best friends of best friends. And then they'll be laughing at your faces without realizing how that will mentally break you down if you find out. I have faced that. I'm not mentioning names here. But I still had people that were at my corner. And I trust everybody here if you're the way to face that. You might have some people that might add salt to it, but you still have people that will be in your corner to tell you that it's okay, it's gonna be okay. So I had those people that helped me out. At the same time, I had to grow some thick skin to start telling people that, okay, because it reached a point whereby people could even say to my face, there was this word that I said in that interview. I said, I don't know how to talk, right? And then they'll say it in your first, whether you go in a salon or in a restaurant, they'll be like, you see that girl? She said, I don't know how to talk, right? They know that you're healing, and they don't care. That is still draining the energy out of you. So I still had to grow even more thicker skin. And I had to pretend as if I wasn't healing them. It didn't matter to me. And it also affected me to a point whereby even in Parliament, for me to stand up and ask a question, I was very hesitant. Because I was like, I'm going to be judged, right? Even to speak in a podium of a rally, I had to be careful of the words that I should be saying in that rally. What will the feedback from the online will be? How are people going to see this? So it took a little while, like I said, but then eventually it also taught me that, you know what, like I said, you've got two options. Either to sit under the desk and say, okay, I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to have the peace with myself and not be seen anywhere in the world. But I had to realize that as the youngest member of Parliament, I've got youth that are looking up to me. I've got a responsibility in the constituents that I need to fulfill. So even if I have to be letting these bullies win, I'm losing out. I've got the nation's expectations on me. So I had to stand up and fight and show them what I was made of. At the same time, the second question was what? I've talked about the negative experiences. And then the steps that you took. So the steps that I took, recently, if you remember, there was a certain, I made a certain contribution in Parliament, and one of our ministers wrote something on Facebook. She said, no, she found a tutor, she was tutored, and she, improved her English. It's not really good to say I didn't have a tutor, but it was okay for her to think that way because, that's the common way people overcome issues of, that issue. But I just had to find ways to improve my confidence as well as my English because then the issue was about English, her English. The thing with Malawi is you are rich if your English is good, or you're beautiful if your English is good, right? But funny thing is, we have got men and women that are not that educated, but they're millionaires and billionaires, right? We don't judge them. But then at the same time, when you see somebody who has achieved, at a little age in Malawi, they'll be like, no, as long as someone English, that person has made it in life. Sometimes it comes with a little bit of jealousy, but it is what it is. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm still the youngest member of parliament. I just had to approach certain people, and I want also to put it out there that when you face these challenges, please, please do not hesitate to seek for professional counseling. It's really important. Ladies in the MDA's organization, or our girls in secondary schools or in college, if it reaches that point where you say, I think in that over, let me just go, right? That should not be the option. If it reaches that point, seek out professional help. And it does help you a lot. I am a witness to that. So those were the steps that I took to become where I am.
Thank you very much. Reaching out for help, ladies. If you've been bullied or have been harassed online, reach out for help if it's necessary, because harassment can cause depression. I've seen depressed people because of harassment. So let's seek for help. With various points that our ladies have pointed out, have brought up, they are talking about being focusing on the positive things, the positive side of whatever is happening to us. Not take it to heart, and build the self-esteem and networking. We've been talking about networking in here. Networking, it's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool because you know exactly who will be there for you, who can help you, and collaboration. Nowadays, we are talking of collaboration as a response or as a solution to most of the challenges that we are facing right now. So collaborating with others is very, very important. Justice Ntaba outlined several organizations that you can reach to when you are looking for that help. When you've been harassed, she has outlined you can ask for that help. You can ask for those links through Macra. I think Macra will have those links. You can ask for those links so that you can have them at hand. It's not only for you, it's also for others, your friends. You are here, but think of millions out there that do not have the opportunity to have the information that you have right now. Be the ambassador to those people and stand for those people. I think we should get to a conclusion for our discussions. A lot has been said already, so I would want to have a final thoughts on empowering women to overcome cyberbullying and online harassment. I'll start with you, Mercy, if you can.
Thank you so much. My final thoughts would be that, we're always talking about it like we're the victims, like, okay, women, we're usually the ones harassed and whatnot. But actually, sometimes we're actually some of the perpetrators. Because what we do, for example, on the internet, you see a meme, somebody, it's somebody's face, and it's not right, but you continue sharing it with your friends, and you laugh about it. That's not right. I think one thing we should realize is that, we have to be vigilant, and we have to be, when we're on the internet, we have to be very careful. It's not right that you continue to sending a photo that is not yours, and you know that it's not right to do that. It's not right. The other thing I would encourage us to do is, to be, when we're sharing things on the internet, let's make sure that what we're sharing, for example, WhatsApp is okay, like that's like a family platform where you have your contacts and whatnot. But for example, when you're sharing things on Facebook, be careful with what kind of photos you share. Be careful with who you are talking to. And another thing I would also want to emphasize is the thing about, when you've experienced something like this, just don't take it to heart. Don't take it to heart. Just see it as an opportunity that, oh, somebody sees me. They are able to notice who I am and they can make a joke about it. So, yeah, I think that's what I had.
My final words will be, I'll first go for the women in position, in public positions. Most of the times when we first these things, I know they might not be the same, they'll always be different, but the effects are the same. Mental health and emotional issues. Like I said, seek out help. You seek out professional help. You reach out to anybody that you know, this person can be there for me, and being around this person will make me feel better. Prioritize your self-care. Prioritize your self-care. Do things that make you relax in the meantime. It's okay to be in this place whereby people are throwing names, people are calling you things that you're not even aware about. But at the same time, don't focus on the negative part of it. Focus on the positive part of it. And when it passes, believe you me, when I won, maybe people who used to know me were from Machinga, where I come from. But then when that instant happened, I was all over Malawi. If I go to Shitipa, people will be like, this is the youngest member of parliament, Finance Magojo. If I go to Msanje, people will be like that. So it has got a positive side of it when it's happening. So by the time that is happening, while you're seeking help, prioritize your self-care. Take care of yourself. We don't want to be seeing you in the street wearing a hoodie just because a certain thing has happened on the internet. You are what you are today, tomorrow, and forever. So when you are in this situation, stay grounded, do what you're doing. If you work, still go to work. Whether they judge you in any way, you still have a responsibility to fulfill. And that will not take it away while you're home sobbing. And if it's that difficult, I mean, girls, we're good at it. Just pretend. Who cares? So, for girls, like most of the presenters said, sometimes, I'm not saying everybody, but sometimes we call it, come, find me, right? The content that we post online, I don't know, maybe it's me, I mean, still watching music, but some of the content, like the presenters said, they can define your future. At the same time, they can define your professionalism in the next 5 years or 10 years or so. But at the same time, the way men or other agendas will be viewing you online. Because whatever you post online, define what you are. If you're somebody who likes posting memos and emojis, people will say, Ajama emojis and memos. If you're somebody who loves to post opportunities for people to benefit from, people will call you a helper. So whatever you post online, whether on Facebook or WhatsApp statuses or whatever, that defines who you are. Your personal life will always be your personal life. The only people that know who you are, they're your family members, those people that are around you. And the rest, the social media doesn't know what you are. But you can show them and tell them what you are if an opportunity arises. Mine is today, and it has been in the past. Maybe it's going to be in the future. But as you're going home, take it from somebody who was bullied for almost 2 years or 3 years, and who has overcome from it even stronger. The finest that I was, even though I was a little bit thin, now I'm, I am still that finest. And I'm still dreaming even bigger because that opportunity was given to me. And if that opportunity is given to you now, ladies, use it. And use it in the positive side of it. Thank you so much.
For me, it's three things. I would say the first thing, prevent it. As much as you can. They've talked about cyber hygiene, people have talked about etiquette. The thing is, today is like Chinamwali, right? Masiku atatu aka Chinamwali, today pa Chinamwali, kuchinamwali timauzana zoka chita zoka sajite. We've talked about it. If you cannot be proud of it anywhere else, don't share it. If you don't share your nudes with your family, trust you me, if you share it with a man, you break up with him, you share it with your family. And they've done that. So prevent. Be proactive about your own safety. Because no one is going to be looking after your own safety better than you. And if you're proactive about your own safety, you'll be proactive about the safety of your family, your friends. Because you'll be saying, I don't want this to happen to my friend. I don't want this to happen to my young brother. I don't want this to happen to my young sister. Be proactive, prevent it. Let's avoid reacting to issues. Because the reacting to issues takes time and it destroys our issues because our reputation would have been destroyed, our emotional and well-being would have been destroyed. Sometimes we will lose a job too. Our economic issues get affected. I'm sorry, when you come between me and my money, I take offense with that. If you don't take offense about people affecting your money, you have another thing coming because that determines a lot of the things that we need to want to do as women. To be honest, the car you want to drive, the education you want to have, the people you want to help depends on your emotional well-being, your ability to be in a job, and your ability to make money. So do that. The second P, I would say, promote or empower yourself. As I've said, there's a lot of people here that are talking about empowerment. Empowerment in terms of your social skills, empowerment for your professional life, but more so empowerment for your protection. They've told you what laws are there, what policies exist, who is there to help you. Nkaniona kuti ukazipanga weka promoted or kuzipata weka udindoda kuti ndipitirire apa osangokhala ndikuti ndikudziwa pakudziwa ndikotheka koma gwiritsa ntchito zimene wadziwa zija mwaphunzira kuti ku 261 116 kapangeni empower anzanu akupangeni empower your family kauzeni. The third one is protect. And in terms of protecting, you either protect yourself and you protect everybody around you. And that includes that in a prosecute when it's happened. When you see it happening, report it. Because sometimes we say, isizayin and dizan zangai azonelaek. This life, if we do not help each other, I'll put it in the simplest context of what we are as Africans and what we are as Malawians. Umuntu timafuna kuti chinthu atipange chimene ineso mwina anganditani angandipangire. So protection requires that I protect myself and I protect everyone else, especially those that are vulnerable. So if we go out there and say we do all those three, trust you me, it will lessen the cyberbullying. It will lessen the cyber stalking. It will lessen the online violence. Not that it will take it away, but we do need to reduce it. I thank you. I don't want to see you in court, so stop sending those things. Because as I said, me and Justice Kaira over there do not see gender. We see a perpetrator and you're found guilty. Trust you me, you will go to that area that people don't like. Let me tell you, I wouldn't even want to send my worst enemy to prison. So we don't want to send you to prison. One final thing, bestie. I will not have any other besties other than you.
Thank you very much. That's finishing on a very, very powerful note. Just to conclude, some of us are in here who are bullying others on internet. We are harassing others. We are the perpetrators. Actually, we've mastered doing it. Very organized in bullying others. You are hearing from the law perspective, you can be prosecuted. You can be prosecuted, spending time in prison because of bullying others. Please stop. You've learned it hurts people. It can kill people. Please change. It's not necessary. Change. We know we've been advised it's a crime. Let's do the right thing. Prevent, 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 and protect. Very, very important. For those that are going through that are kind of depressed right now because they are experiencing that right now, because we know some in this room right now are experiencing that. People bullying them online. Know what to do. Focus on the positive. You can always come back. Together as women in Malawi, we can choose to be different. To say, if we find any bully, as women, we'll rally behind and support that particular person. Not the ones that will be in forefront harassing somebody. No. Let's teach the men that we can be more civilized. We can support each other. We need each other. We are parents. We are aunties. We are mothers, grandmothers right in here. The nation is looking up to us. Let's be responsible. Very, very important. Thank you very much. I would like to thank our panelists this afternoon. Thank you very much for sharing with us, for advising us and directing us. We don't take that for granted, because sometimes when we share our experience, we are also vulnerable. It's vulnerability. But that you could be with us and share with us, we really appreciate. I would like to thank you in a very special way that you could make this time available. Thank you very much.
Has been empowered. Wow, ladies, this marks the end of our conference. I know next year we'll have the whole week. Let me ask Chair for the conference, Tokozani Chimbe, to give us a few remarks, and then she'll ask our board director to close our conference for us.
All good things have to come to an end. But as we are signing off, know that next year we'll come back here stronger and better. We are also getting lessons from the comments. We are already starting to think who else to bring, which other aspects we are going to introduce next year, definitely. We will also try to have some grooming lessons, makeup and other things put somewhere. We'll try to have a psychologist coming in just to advise us on certain things that happen online. So we keep on learning, and your feedback would be so much appreciated. But before we sign off, I wouldn't go without talking about cyberbullying. I would like to remind everyone that it is our responsibility. We are each other's keepers. There are certain things that we need to do when we are cyberbullied. First of all, record everything that is there. Report to the necessary authorities. We'll always take it up. I would also like to tell you that there's one thing that we're working on, and I'm very positive that something will come out. We are working a lot with Facebook. We want to have an agreement on how they can be telling, if we complain to them, they can give us the names of perpetrators so that we can prosecute. We have enhanced the laws. Now I talked about the cyber crimes bill. Cyberbullying has heavily been emphasized there. So please watch out. We don't want to have participants or delegates being found to be the perpetrators. And take a break from social media when you're bullied. Sign off. You can always come back, but immediately sign off. Don't retaliate when a bully, when you are bullied. You only escalate the situation. And make positive impact. Don't overshare. Only have friends that will promote you, not friends that will take you down. Me and Z have been friends, I don't know for how since we were about 6. We're still best friends till today. We went together in law school. There were times when we would be playful, almost be weeded. We encourage each other that we are not sleeping. We are going to see things through. Nobody's going to go back home. That's what friendship is all about. We've seen each other through the West. Have positive friendships. Now we are not even friends. We are almost like sisters. We know each other's families. Our families are now each other's families. Build positive friendships. And the other thing I would like to also, I wouldn't not say this, is there are features online that we should utilize. Limit people you share your stuff with. Use those filters. And anything that would limit your exposure that is available, they're always there. But we choose not to have those settings on our social media platforms. But most importantly, empathy. Stop, think before you post anything. Because tomorrow it might be you. Empathy is very important. So cyberbullying is a definitely no. We are each other's keepers. So before I call our board director, Director Odala Menyani, I would like to thank all you delegates for being here with us for the last 3 days. A big hand for us. This conference wouldn't have been a success it is without you being there. You are the success. We believe in you. That's why we are having this conference. We know we are going to build a cyber defense force, and which needs women, and it is you that we need. Take the positives from this conference, network, ask, and there were so many things that were being posted. Let's try, not just to the conference, let's take it to the next stage. My responsibility in that also. So please, let's take it further. And the other thing that I would also like, the other people I would like to thank is our speakers, especially those who have flown from far away. Thank you so much. We don't take it for granted. Let's give them a big hand of applause. And I would also like to thank my organizing team. Oh, local speakers, how dare I do that? Thank you so much. A big hand for them as well. My organizing team, wherever you are, can you please stand up? There was no way I would have done this without you. Clement, please stand up. Tamanda, please stand up. Where is he? I see you somewhere. Why are you not standing up? Where is he? You. Why are you looking at other people? Can you please stand up? Where is he? I'm talking to you. Please stand up. So these are the people who have made it happen. Others are not even here. They are still working behind closed doors. The Ashreds, everyone, I would like to say thank you. Our technical teams, thank you so much. Our hotel staff, thank you so much. Almost everyone has contributed to the success of this conference, and to that, gracias. And as I'm signing off, I would like to invite Director Menyani on the podium to close, but let me also emphasize that as much as we are closing, for the young girls, please, for the competition, Catch the Flag, is still happening. Whoever emerges to be the winner, it's 1 year internship at Macra. So please stay on. It is a must, but the adults have to go and do other things. Director, please take it away.
It is with great pleasure that I stand before you today, this afternoon, to deliver the closing remarks for this remarkable Women in Cyber Conference of 2024 that was themed Inspiring the Next Generation, Empowering Future Cybersecurity Professionals. I think let us give it a hand again. And another hand to the chair, the lady who just gave me the podium to close. But I'm like that bad guy, so I still must just close this conference. Over the past 3 days, we have been privileged to witness an extraordinary gathering of some, I think I would not be wrong to say, of the brightest minds in the field of cybersecurity, both from our own Malawian circles and from the international stage. First and foremost, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude as an authority to all speakers from Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Kenya, and outside Africa, who have graced us with their presence and shared their invaluable expertise and insights. Your dedication and passion for this industry have been truly inspiring, and we are grateful for the knowledge you have imparted to us. To each and every delegate in attendance, thank you for your unwavering commitment to this cause. Your presence here is a testament to your dedication to advancing the role of women in the cybersecurity field, and we are honored to have you as part of this journey. I would like to extend a special commendation to the young women who have attended this conference. It is our sincere hope that you have been inspired, empowered, and are now ready to take up the mantle of cybersecurity roles and become the army of our cyber workforce. As the conference was going on, as the last of the panelists were here, I quickly went to this page that's called Mikosi, and I've seen some of the faces here. You are very busy there. And some of the comments you are making are tantamount to bullying others. Be very careful, as it was said to you by the Lordship, that one day you'll be at the wrong end of the law, and she does not look at the face whether it was here in this room. As I said, your participation is a testament to the bright future that lies ahead for our nation, and we at Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA, remain steadfast in our commitment to gender equality and bringing the gender gap in the cyber security industry. We are very, very committed. We recognize the immense talent and potential that women possess, and I want to emphasize on this. My firstborn child is a girl, and therefore I am squeezed to, particularly favor girls and women in whatever they do. And I know you are dedicated, we at MACRA are dedicated to providing the necessary support and opportunities to empower you excel in this field. As we conclude this remarkable conference, let us all live with a renewed sense of purpose and determination to transform the landscape of cybersecurity in this country. And we know that together we can build a more secure and resilient digital future for our nation. Thank you all for your time and dedication. May this conference be the catalyst for greater things to come. Ziko.
Thank you so much, Board Director. This marks the end of our conference, unfortunately. But as Thokozani had said, we still have the competition. So those of us that registered, please stay behind. We are going to conduct it in this very same room. Just a few housekeeping issues. We have a few coupons and goodie bags. So when we are going out, please let's get our coupons and our goodie bags. Lunch is being served outside as usual for our speakers and our VIP as usual, and we'll bring your goodie bags there at the restaurant. The students that were invited, ladies, are not done yet. Please, please, please. These goodie bags are enough for every single person. So just give me 2 more seconds. I'm almost done. So for our students that were invited, I think you know yourselves, we've got Zuni, I think, and a couple of other schools. Please, those ones as well, your goodie bags have been kept. So you go out, you get your coupon, you go outside with your supervisor, and they'll give you your goodie bags. So please don't get a goodie bag when going out, please, please. So I think with just those few announcements, ladies, a lunch, catch the flag at 2. Those of us that are doing catch the flag, may we please eat quickly, come back here and do that exercise. For our VIP, we might use this door to go for lunch. Otherwise, have a good day.